Well, I hope we're live. If not, I'm talking to my pickup truck here. Anyway, I'm glad you're all here today. You're welcome here in my shop. And I've got a couple things that I want to cover. And obviously, there's a few people on here that probably want to know about the drawing. And I was hoping I could see my comments here. Let me look here and see. Maybe someone could type a comment to make sure. Hope everybody's doing good. Okay, so I don't think I'm seeing my comments here on my laptop. I hope everybody's having good weather where they're at. It's a sunny day here. It's windy though. And yeah, let me look here. Give me just a moment here. I'll get some help with comments here briefly. Peek here, make sure looks like I'm still alive, and yep, I'm still alive. All right, well, I'm gonna go with it here. So, why am I having this drawing? And I think most people probably know if they watched my video from December 27th. That was my first year on YouTube, and the channel grew quite a bit. I didn't know what to expect for the first year. And I'm grateful for people that take time to watch my videos and to come out and see what I've got new each day. So I appreciate everybody being here. I've got my lovely assistant here handing me the device here. Let me know in the comments if there's any problem with sound. I think we got the sound turned all the way down, so we shouldn't have any feedback on here. So anyway. Yeah, the weather here is good. I don't know what it's like in your part of the country. I was looking at the weather this morning. It looks like it's a pretty good mix. I don't want to tell you that it's about 70 degrees and sunny here in Arizona. So I thought first maybe I would talk a little bit about why I started the YouTube channel to begin with. And it's interesting, when I first started thinking about why I did, my wife said it was really obvious to her, and as I thought about it, I've always been, it seems like, in roles where I helped other people to learn to do things, whether it was in sales, learn how to sell, if I was in a store, how to run a store. I worked for Sherwin-Williams for about 30 years. Before that even, I worked for 2 previous companies, and both those roles I found myself in a training position. So I think that when I retired, that was an area that was somewhat missing for me. The ability to, to help other people. And so that's one of the major things that I get out of that is that. And I really appreciate when I get comments and feedback on a video that maybe that was a perspective they hadn't thought of, or they appreciated the information that kind of helped them get started. And I think that, I hope, my goal is that a lot of what I hopefully project in the training, whether it's leathercraft or whatever, is if you've got something that you want to go do, go give it an opportunity to work. You don't know. I've got a friend, his name's Frank, and he says that a lot of times the toughest part of a journey is the first step. And I think that's the way it is with that as well. And if you're getting ready to retire, John, try some different hobbies out there and see, what connects with you. And I tried a few. My wife, sometimes she chuckles at some of the ones I tried. And, I took some blacksmithing classes, and I really like that. My house is in an HOA, and I'm pretty sure that they would be a lot less receptive to me setting up a blacksmith shop than some people would think. But, get out there and try something. And my goal on the whole leathercraft, I do sell items, but my goal is to try to make my hobby a net zero. It isn't to try to make money to put food on the table. And I'm not saying that you can't do that. I think you can, and I think with the limited amount of work that I've had, I think I've experienced the fact that does work. So let me look here and see. I sure hope I'm getting out there. I think I am. So, you know, put yourself out there, try hobbies, and like I said, the goal on the leathercraft wasn't to make money, but I think if I worked, you know, hard at it like a job, 40 hours a week, I think I would be able to, you know, pay bills. But like I said, my goal was to make it a net zero hobby. I like to give a lot of this stuff away. I'm giving away 3 belts today. It's an example of that. The first, I'd say 50 belts that I made when I first started doing leathercraft, I gave everyone on the way. And that was fun. You know, it was fun to call up a friend or a family member and say, it's your turn. You know, let's figure out what it is that you want, whether it's a belt or I made a few totes and such for family members. And anyway, enough about that. That's what I really enjoy. One of my last videos, or actually, I guess it was the last video, was a video on a tool restoration. And I love old tools. And I like to pick up a tool out of the bottom of an old toolbox or off of a workbench in a barn. And I like history, so I like to think about excuse me. I like to think about what that tool has experienced and what the person was going through while they were using it. In this tool here, it's a spoke shave, and I had a few people say, I don't even know what a spoke shave is. And I'm looking at comments here, and yeah, I'm a little nervous that I'm not getting any more comments, so I hope I'm still alive here. But anyway, this spoke shave was in a toolbox of a friend of the family, and I'm sure that this spoke shave is over 100 years old. I really like a spoke shave, and what I use it for, so the name spoke shave is, I believe it started for making wooden spokes. You could use it for making, you know, on a handrail, the spindles in that, you could use that to shape that. But what I use it for mainly is for fitting handles in tools. And I like to pick up old axe heads and hammer heads, you know, whatever tool's got a wooden handle in it, and refit handles to, you know, bring the tool back to its useful life. And it was really kind of cool when I started sanding this down to find out that this was from a patent in February 27, 1883. And I started to do a little bit more research on the spoke shave, and specifically the metal spoke shaves. The first spoke shaves that were used were made out of wood, and in the mid to late 1800s, the spoke shave started appearing in metal. And so this is one of the earlier patented spoke shaves. This one here is a little bit unique. That's interesting. My wife was able to secure this out of the bottom of a toolbox of a friend. I think I said part of that. And I'd like to look in the bottom of that toolbox and see, because these two slots here, this spoke shave here was developed specifically for putting a chamfer or an angled edge on a board. And if you think about, if you know woodworking, before you had routers, you had to put an edge on the edge, and they used, there's planes that were made to put an edge on wood, and this one here was made specifically to put that angle on it, so it's missing two guides that would hold that on the corner at the proper angle to put that edge detail on the board. I will never use it for that I know of, but I like to use it for the tools. And I've got a piece of wood here, and I'll just try to show you a little bit about how it works. But what you would do is you would be pulling, if I can do it here with it in one hand, you would be pulling like this, and you would, it's hard to do one-handed, you would be shaving off pieces. And so you can see it comes off as a shave. Now, there's a draw knife, and the difference between a spoke shave and a draw knife is a draw knife can be used to quickly remove large amounts, and this is more of a finished detail. So anyway, there was a couple of comments on that video about that I should have demoed it. Probably should have in that video once I finished. But that's what the spoke shave is, and like I said, I like old tools. I've got a couple notes here. I don't want to forget some things. One of the ways I start a lot of my videos is, picking up a box and seeing what's in it. And I thought I've got a box here. I wanted to talk a little bit about it. I use, and I mention a lot of times where I buy the things, and I'm wide open. If you've got questions about the supplies I get, where I get them, I don't keep any of the secrets. I think, part of the reason why is because when I first started doing leatherwork, I used YouTube as a way to glean information and see how other people, tackle problem spots in whatever they're working on. And so I feel like I'm just giving back when I do that. And so a lot of these suppliers I found by someone making a comment that I bought this from Buckle Guy. So I don't get anything back from the Buckle Guy other than I would say great customer service. The Buckle Guy does good customer service or great customer service. They're quick, they get it out there to me, and so I appreciate that. So I buy I'm going to say half of my supplies I buy from the Buckle Guy, and they get it to me quick. So I can't even remember. I ordered this back a ways. I've been out of the shop here for a few days, and let's see what we got in here. Oh yeah, more thread. The thread that I use, you guys probably know it by now, but it's the Tiger Ritza thread, and I use the 0.08 millimeter for really the vast majority of whatever I hand stitch. I've got some of the 0.06, and I've got some of the 1.2 as well. So that's there, and then I've got a roll of double-sided, or actually 2 rolls double-sided tape. I need to put that in a Ziploc bag. It'll pick up debris on the edge of it there. And then I bought some buckles. I have had a few people over the years ask about a reversible buckle, and I had not found any that were of the quality that I was looking for. I want to make sure that the buckle holds up as long as the belt. I'd hate for the buckle to be the first thing that failed. And the Buckle Guy had this out there, and I'll be honest, my daughter, she was asking me about a reversible buckle, and so anyway, so I jumped in and I found these at the Buckle Guy. I wish they had them in a plated, nickel plated, but all they had was the solid brass. And so I got a handful of buckles. And a lot of times, one of the things I try to do is I try to buy the buckles, when I buy from the Buckle Guy, I try to buy them in groups or lots of 10 or more, because they give a discount on that. And I think it's 15% on most of them, but I know some items are more and some items are less. So, I don't know, you didn't come here for a shopping tips. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to draw the first name, and the first name I'm going to draw is going to be for the third place. So the third place is my work belt. I call it the ranch hand, and it comes in, this is the cocoa bean, the color I call cocoa bean. It's a very dark brown. I've got a black, and then I've got a kind of a honey brown color as well, and it comes with a stainless steel buckle on it. And actually I want to review a couple of the rules. I'm giving away 3 belts, and I'm going to draw 3 names for the ranch hand, which is my third place belt. It doesn't have any hand stitching on it, but it's a tough leather belt. This is it's about 1/4 of an inch thick leather. And this is the one, the first one I made. I put it on, I wore it for several weeks, trying to make sure I didn't get any color rub off on it, and it did a great job. So I'm going to give away 3 belts. I could give away 4, and I want to make sure it's clear up front. I don't have very many entries in there that are my siblings, but if one of my siblings' names gets drawn, they're going to get a prize, and I'm going to draw that prize level again. So I could end up giving away 4 instead of 3. Now, there are quite a few people that took advantage of the several videos that I had to get your name in the drawing more than once. If I pull someone's name a second time, I'm not going to give that person 2 belts. I'm going to give them another gift of my choosing that I'll put in with the belt. And if they're so lucky to get drawn on all 3 names, I'm going to pitch that aside and move on. So I've got a drawing here. These are the names that were in there. And I want to try to make this fair, because the first names that enter is on the bottom, and some people are going to say, well, that's not fair. You know, I was there from the beginning. So I'm going to dump them in a box, and we'll mix them up, and then I'll put them back in the vase and give everybody a chance to be drawn. I know, I saw it go down there on the ground. I'll get it. I probably should just leave it in the box. It's pretty tight in there. This is the container I used for my first drawing, and that's when I had 100 subscribers, and I've got, I'm coming up on 1,500 subscribers here. And I'm grateful for everybody that has been with me the whole time. I appreciate that. And I was trying to think back on that first drawing. I had some technical issues, and I hope I'm not having any. My bride is in the house, and hopefully if there's any, she'd come running out here and let me know. But we ended up with some feedback, so I'm not exactly sure what happened there. But hopefully it sounds good and that works. You know, I'm going to put this back in the box, because I can't root around in there. I don't know. It's all magic here. So anyway, I was saying I had, at that time I had 100 subscribers, and I had like 34 names in the drawing. And I'd like to, you know, acknowledge everyone that's helped me grow. But I'm afraid if I start down that list, that then I'll forget somebody, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But I'm going to mention out one YouTube creator out there that's kind of been along for the ride. They were there for that 100th subscriber anniversary drawing, and that's Rick from Rick's Outdoors. And he's been real helpful over the time, and I try to be helpful to him if I've got a question. And believe me, we are neither one technical geniuses there. I know that probably shocks you, but it's good to have someone that's there kind of rooting you along. And I remember after that one, I was a little disappointed in the outcome with the sound quality. I hope it's good this time. And he called, and we talked a little bit about it. And so anyway, I just wanted to mention Rick. There's, like I said, there's a bunch of others. I'm not looking, so here I'll turn this up here. And some of these, the name is going to be your subscriber name. I know I'm probably making too much noise if you hear me. It's a subscriber name. So some of them make sense, and others don't make a whole lot of sense to me. But you'll know who it is. I've got one here, and so I'm going to hold it up here, and let's see. All right. Michael Scott, 7777. I'm going to call that a number 4, meaning 4 drawings. Now, he's not my sibling, but he's a brother-in-law of mine, and I'm gonna make the belt he wants. Well, I guess he gets ranch hand, but I'm going to draw that again. I'm going to consider that a brother because he's a brother to me. So, Michael Scott. Got your name out of there, Michael. All right. Let's try again here. Now, if I draw another sibling, sorry, I'm not going to keep going down that rabbit hole. If I pull out another sibling here, then we'll have to square up some other way. All right. All right. This is a fairly recent subscriber. It's BF Outdoor Adventures. And I know who that is. There's a few people on there. It's another YouTube creator. but it's BF Outdoor Adventures. So you're getting one of my ranch hand belts. Let me write ranch hand on here so I don't forget. Well, I guess I've got a video record, don't I? So I'm going to reach out to each of these winners, and I'll gather the information and get your belt made the way you want it and get it sent out to you. So, so there's two. Let me see, was I going to say anything else here? So, you know, so I described the ranch hand belt. My second giveaway, second place, is going to be a classic belt. Now, if the person wanted a ranch hand, which is a less expensive belt, I would do that for them. But this is here's an example of a classic belt. The classic belt, the one belt I call the classic, has got stitching along the edges and nothing down the middle. So to me, it's kind of that traditional belt. This one's got a metal belt loop here. Most of them that I make have a leather one, but I'm going to make it the way the person wants. And so there's an example of the classic. So this next one that I draw is going to be that. But before I get there, I had a video on. I'm taking some classes at the Prescott, Arizona Leather Trade Show with Don Gonzalez, and I've purchased some tools to go to that. It's on leather tooling, and it's an area that I have toyed with a little bit. If you've been following along on videos, you've probably seen where I have tooled some, but this is specifically a floral carving class. Actually, I signed up for two classes, an intermediate and an advanced, one behind the other, one day and then the next. And it's an area that I'm going to explore. Obviously, if I took the expense to buy the tools and sign up for the classes weren't free. I feel like it's going to be a challenge for me, and I say that because I tend to be a perfectionist and just the things end up in the trash and it doesn't turn out the way I want it to, and I want it to turn out really nice. So, but anyway, the reason why I was going down that road is if you're a leather worker or whatever and you're at that show, come up and say hi. I'd like to meet some of my subscribers there. So anyway, this is the classic belt, so we're going to pull a name from that. And I can make that in a multitude of colors. I typically make it either 1 inch, 1 1/4, or 1.5 inch. And let's see who we come up with here. Try to get just one, Robert. One. Freestyle Leather Studio 5800. Is going to get one of my classic belts. If they'd rather have the ranch hand, I can do that, but you're either going to get the classic belt or the ranch hand. So let me write it on here. Sounds like they're a leather worker. It'll be fun to make a belt for another leather worker. All right. So I've got that done there. I'm looking here, and I'm not seeing very many comments. That's all right. And I had said that you don't have to be present. It'd be great if I had all of my subscribers present today, or just the ones that are in the drawing, but that's cool. You don't have to be. And I know I picked the Saturday, and then I got thinking afterwards, you know, when's a good time on Saturday? Is it early in the day? I wasn't even thinking about, my friends know I'm not a huge sports guy, so I wasn't even thinking about playoff games, so I didn't want to go head to head with that. I think I'd probably lose in most cases with that. So obviously people can jump back in here and view this video later here. So I talked for a minute about YouTube channels that inspire me, and I watch Chuck Dorsett on Weaver Leather. That's probably the first videos I ever watched was Chuck Dorsett, and he does a great job. If you've ever watched enough of his videos, he'll talk about it. But he's got a background in film. I think he was a newscaster at one point, And so he does a really good job with his editing and his cameras and all that. He talks about how long he takes sometimes to get the right shot. I apologize for mine. I'm not that person to have the perfectly choreographed video, but I hope you get the gist of where I'm going with it. But Chuck Dorset with Weaver Leathercraft, and I buy from Weaver as well. So Chuck, and then Don Gonzalez, and it's interesting. Don Gonzalez, I like to watch his tooling videos, and he does a lot of saddle work. He makes other things that are very Western flair items, but I like to listen along, and I said before that there's times when he's working on a saddle, and that's not what I'm working on, but I see techniques there that help me there as well. So I'm not opposed to watching those. I can't think of the channel's name now. It's Joe, which is a lady, and she's over in the UK, and I can't think of the name of their channel at this point. But I really like to watch her work, and her work it's meticulous, and she does a lot of small dog collars and bands to go on a watch and things like that, and that takes a really fine detail, and her work's it's just fabulous. So those are a few that I watch, and I also watch Aaron Heiser with Maker's Leather Supply. I've bought quite a few things from Aaron Heiser over the years as well, and I really enjoy watching his videos. And his video recording style is probably a little bit more in the same style as mine. He tends to record from start to end on a project with like really no breaks. So there's a lot of times he's got a video that's an hour and 20 minutes, depending on what it is. Let's see here. I had, yesterday, I had someone make a comment on Facebook. It wasn't a bad comment, but they were talking about how long it takes to stitch a belt, and I sent them a note, and I said, I'll talk to you offline if you want. I talked a little bit about it, but when I went back later, I saw where someone else had commented like, hey, I watch, they knew who I was, I guess, from my name. They're like, I watch your videos, and I was going to suggest that they watch your videos there. And they made a comment about he's got a Cobra 26 sewing machine, and he doesn't use it on belts, and belts are my favorite thing to make. And so I wanted to talk just for a minute about that. I know we want to get to the grand prize, and I'll get there in just a second. But I was watching another YouTube channel guy yesterday. It's Pete with Just a Few Acres, and I don't know if anybody else watches Pete with Just a Few Acres. He's hilarious. I'm not hilarious most of the time, not when I'm trying to be. And he was talking about some of the things that he does, that there's quicker ways to do it, but he gets the enjoyment out of making it. And that's the way I feel about belts. If I thought I could stay busy enough making belts and nothing else, other than like family members, I probably wouldn't make totes and dop kits and things like that. I just love making the belts. And what I enjoy is the handwork of making the belt. And this is one of my first classic belts that I made for inventory, and I show it a lot of times in a booth. But I just like looking at that, and I also like when someone picks it up and I say, all those stitches are by hand, and they're surprised or shocked that those are all by hand. And to me, it's I think the leather working is my therapy, the escape from the real world, because you have to focus on what you're doing, and I think that helps. I find it relaxing. The making the bags and such, not so much. So I bought the sewing machine mainly so that I could make the totes and the bags, and I don't intend to use it on belts as long as I can hand stitch belts. I won't make a belt on the Cobra 26, and to me that's saying quite a bit, because I could stitch this belt on the Cobra 26 in less than 5 minutes. And I will spend making the holes, doing the stitching. I'll spend 2 or 3 hours on making that belt. So once again, obviously, if it was about making money, I'd probably have to go that route. But then that's a totally different animal at that point. So I just wanted to talk about that for a second. I get the enjoyment out of making the belts. And on the grand prize here, I'm grabbing a couple belts here so that you can see some others. So the grand prize belt is going to be a belt of your choosing between my standard belt. So if you say, I want the ranch hand belt, then I'll make you a ranch hand belt and send it to you. Or if you want the classic, I'll do that. The gunslinger here is it's not my most popular, but I really like the look of the gunslinger belt. The gunslinger belt here has got this pattern, and I didn't name it a gunslinger. This pattern in the leather and saddle tack industry is known as the gunslinger pattern. And this one here is made with white thread down the center and black along the edges, and in a dark brown, and it's got a stainless steel buckle on it. So you could have the gunslinger, or you could have the western, and it's interesting. I make some of these for inventory, but I make them really if someone says, hey, I want a belt, and I really like the idea of the color combination, sometimes I'll make two, and then I'll put one in my inventory, and I'll sell out of my inventory at times at the shows. But it seems like when I go to a show, it seems like usually I don't have quite the right thing. They like this, but they want an inch and a half. This is an inch and a quarter, or this is a 36-inch belt, and they want a 38-inch belt. So I sell very few off the table, so to speak. But this is the Western. This one's in black. It's got the brown on the inside. It's not a reversible belt. I kind of like that custom look, and it's got the antique nickel spots in it. This has got light gray thread in the center and black along the edges. So, so that's the Western. And then here's another Western here. Black spots, black thread. And this one is what I call faded golden brown. Instead of being one color all the way through, I've found a way to where I can get it two-tone, and it gives it kind of an aged look. The first time I did it, it was an accident, and I'm like, what the heck happened there? And the interesting thing was that when I started showing it to people, they really liked that. And this was a real popular belt this summer when I was making belts. Enough delay. I know you want to know who the winner is. Where's my box? So the grand prize winner, I've had about 130 names in here. Another YouTube channel, and believe me, I've got a lot of YouTube channel subscribers there. The one thing about, I know, can you see it yet? One of the things about the YouTube world, it's interesting. I've really connected with, there's probably a dozen YouTube creators out there. I watch their videos. I find them interesting. You're going to say, what? But one of the things that I enjoy watching are some of the firewood creator videos. I mean, yes, that's it. That's what they're doing. They're cutting firewood, splitting firewood, stacking firewood, selling firewood. On my personal time out from this hobby here, I enjoy doing that. And it probably came from, growing up in the Midwest, we cut and heated our house with firewood. So I really enjoyed, doing that. And so maybe it's that connection. And Chris, oh shoot, what's the name of his channel? I used to watch, his was the very first firewood channel I ever watched. There's like 4 of you guys screaming it right now. Let me scroll through my comments here. Did you see the name that's on there? Yeah, I guess I'm teasing you a little bit. I'm gonna look in here and just see, because I realize that there's comments in here and I haven't been relating to those. Online and waiting. I hope Frank is here. William says good luck to everybody. Paula, she's waving. Rain in Georgia. Johnny L. Is it Goldridge? I'm sorry, Johnny, if I said that wrong. And I'm doing fine. It looks like the person's name is on here. Hopefully they're still there. And then Knowles, hey, he's saying hi, and he's on Prince Edward Island. I've never been there. One of the places I want to go, and I'll get there eventually. My brother's saying hi. Sorry, John, you didn't get drawn.
Who Who won? I didn't hear the name.
I'm not there yet. My wife's coming out. I didn't hear the name on who won it, but yeah, I'm teasing along here a little bit here. Another William here. Noel's saying hi. He's talking about other names here that I've been talking about. Larry, strap cutter. I use a strap cutter cut 4 inches on 8-ounce leather to cut 4x4 squares. That's a good idea because it's hard to cut a good square. And so here's the person that won the grand prize. It's Todd's Outside again, and he's a YouTube creator that I like to watch his videos. He comments on mine, I comment on his, and so I think I've got everybody there listed, and I think I've got, I think it was really clear on everybody here. So I'm going to go back to it. So Todd's Outside again is the grand prize winner, so he's going to get to pick which one he wants, and hopefully he's not 8 feet around. And Freestyle Leather Studio 5800 is the classic belt. That's the second prize. And the third place is BF Outdoor Adventures, and he wins the ranch hand belt. And then my brother-in-law, Michael Scott, no, not that Michael Scott. Michael Scott, he gets a ranch hand belt as well. Of course, he's a brother-in-law. He might twist my arm into something else. I appreciate you all being here. I'm serious when I say I appreciate you taking the time to watch my videos, to comment on that, to recommend me to other friends or people. I've picked up a lot of my subscribers by people recommending my channel to other people, and I appreciate that. So with that, I'm going to say please like, share, and subscribe, and I hope you have a great day. Appreciate it. Bye.